Hey, homegirls. Welcome to episode 1 of the Wifed Up in Real Life podcast. My name is Elena.
I'm Cami. And I'm Anissa. And this is a podcast where we talk about marriage and relationships, all things related. Because let's be honest, this is not easy, and we're all doing this for the first time. So, for this first episode, we're going to keep it nice and chill. We want y'all to get to know us. So, we're going to go around, talk about ourselves, a little bit of background. Then, we got a new topic for you guys. So, again, my name's Anissa. I'm, let's say, 5 months into marriage ish, a little bit over. I got a newborn
Mhm.
baby. She turned a month today. And you guys
Yay.
will learn more about the background of my marriage later on. E.
As I said, I'm Elena. They call me E. I have a 2-year-old, and I'm getting ready to have a baby in November on the
Mhm.
15th. And then I've been married for 3 years in October, right? Okay,
Yes.
October. Um, and yeah, that's me.
I'm Cami. I've been married for almost 2 years in November, and I'm the only one who doesn't have kids. But I get to share the love with my niece and my nephews. So,
She has kids, they're just furry.
Got them fur
yeah.
babies. Mm. She got a whole
Lots of
farm over
those.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so basically, I've known Anissa since high school. She was probably about a sophomore. I was a junior. When we met, she was a freshman.
Uh-huh.
I was a sophomore when we met,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
then so this was probably like 2014, right? So we going on,
Yep.
and then Cammy and I met working at a call center.
Mhm.
Not fun. uh, Other than we colored in coloring books and we read books in between calls. But I
Yep.
met probably like 2019, 2018.
Yep.
Um, Over time, I invited my girlies out and really tried to play matchmaker because I like to have a group of friends that get along. So here we are. Got a little trio. The three of us
Mhm.
have been friends for, dang, how long have y'all
Uh,
known each other?
2 year, you like year and a half or two? Oh, since your
No, no,
wedding.
no, no. Yeah.
No, since E's wedding. So yeah,
Yeah,
two
so
years.
before.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, almost 3.
3 years.
Yeah. We'll figure that math out later.
Yeah. So this is how we got here today. Uh,
Mhm.
I brought all my home girlies and we became besties,
Yep.
and now we're all wives and talking that real stuff about being wives. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's nice to have somebody that kind of gets it, you know? There's
Mhm.
not really a lot of people our age that are like already wives, have kids, kind of going through it. So having that similar
Yep.
lifestyle, it makes it easy. Y'all are my sounding board. Thank you.
but also like mature in our roles too, because I know
Exactly.
Yeah.
like a lot of people our age kind of still do what they want, and I feel like
Mhm.
we're pretty young to be married, kids, careers, right? We
Yeah, right.
have those 3 boxes. So I think that we have a lot of good insight and life experience that help us speak on these
Mhm.
topics and have great opinions, and you know
Exactly. So, well, let's hop into it though. So, what's our
Mhm.
topic for today, ladies? What are we going to jump into?
all right, we're gonna start with a little hot take session. So y'all will often
Hey.
do things like hot takes, Q&As. Y'all will see us do
Mhm.
wifed up advice line and things like that. So today we're gonna start with a couple hot takes on the first year or the first 6 months of marriage.
Yep.
And so I'll start with my hot take being I think that this generation doesn't have the work ethic to have
Mm.
you know, really long lasting marriages. And I feel like, they give up too early, which is really why the divorce rate is so high. So
Yeah.
that's my hot take. I think that one, the divorce rate is too high. Two,
Mhm.
the generation ain't got no work ethic. So what are
Nope.
y'all's
I mean, they really don't. Like, I kind of talked to my dad about it the other day. People will literally go to work, give their job 100%. They will literally work their butt off in that facility. Then they come home
Mhm.
to their marriage and they give it about 20% because they
Yep.
get comfortable. I feel like people, it kind of is like a whole stuck in your ways thing, kind of, I'm young, I kind of want to do what I do, but marriage sounds
Mhm.
good. Like marriage is
Yeah.
a vibe, marriage is a trend. That's how they treat it. So it never
Mhm.
lasts long because what trend do you know that lasts more than a year?
Exactly.
Exactly. So they treat it like it's, I kind of got married, I kind of made that choice, but I could end it whenever I want to. I don't
Mm.
like that. What about you, Cammy?
I feel like nowadays people treat marriage as if it's a contract. And when Jalen and I, prior to us getting married, I feel like a lot of times, like when we were going through like our pre-marriage counseling, people would bring up, "What? Why are you doing counseling beforehand?" And I'm like, "Well, this helps us like learn how to like go through our struggles together, talk, have open communication, but it also taught us like marriage is not a contract. This is not like piece of paper. It's not a contract." And I feel like a lot of times we're in a society nowadays where we don't value the covenant of marriage, right? We don't value anything along those lines. And we're just like, oh, well, we can just get divorced. Or I'm not really feeling this anymore. So we can get divorced. Or you just, go through the motions way too much of life. And we get caught up so nowadays where, yeah, like our work ethic and our focus of staying married is not there. And it's so sad because that makes our divorce rates higher than they ever were. And we're just in a society nowadays where people want to be able to go from one thing to another to another to another. And nobody wants that long lasting marriage. Like we think we do and we think we long for it, but like nobody is actually following through with it.
In
And it's
my
hard to
Mhm.
find.
in my opinion, this is not a contract, baby. This is death
Mm-mm.
row. So know
Exactly.
what you're getting yourself into because
Exactly.
you ain't going nowhere, okay?
No.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm. But Cammy, you actually made two really good points I want to touch up on. First one, the covenant. So, and I
Mhm.
literally told people this. I got married in a courthouse, as you guys know. I didn't really care for the
Mhm.
big wedding. We just set a date, went to the courthouse, did the thing, and it was very intimate. And people were like, "Why did you do that? It's your first marriage. Don't you want to go big or go home?" And I'm just like, if I'm making my covenant under God, I don't think anything else
Exactly.
matters. Like, this is about the
Exactly.
covenant that I'm making, the agreement that I'm making, because that's how serious I take it. I don't want
Mhm.
to buy or spend $10,000 on flowers. I don't want the whole theatrical thing. I don't care for that. I just want to
Yeah.
make my agreement under God, and that is it. But also, too, Cammy, you mentioned the fact that things in our generation, people want to hop from one thing to another.
Mhm.
Looking at my dad's family, my uncle, he's been married for 30 plus years because
Yep.
back then they have it in their head, we gonna figure it out.
Yep.
So we made this agreement, we're together, whatever happens, we're going to figure it out. And
Mhm.
especially when you get married young, you have to be patient. You have to be able to
Oh.
take a lot to the chin because you are
Mhm.
going to endure so much in that early marriage. And people, they go through that first trial and they're like, you know what? This is hard. This isn't who I thought you were. I don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly.
But you literally have to be able to work through that. So I'm not going out there looking for the perfect man. I didn't want to find someone who I was like, you know what? You're definitely the right one for me. I found someone that
Mhm.
I said, I can work with you. I can grow
Yep.
with you. We can figure this out together. But that's not
Mhm.
common. They don't have that out here no more. Everybody wants the perfect man right then delivered on Amazon Prime. That's what they want. You can't get that.
just
Yeah.
or like if we locked in, ain't no switching up. Hey, no, I'm just playing.
But I think like you made a really good point. Like a lot of people want a perfect man and you have to realize like you're not even a perfect person. So how can
Thank
you expect that from somebody else when you're not even going to be able to fulfill that perfect on your end?
thank
And
you.
I think a lot of times we just get so caught up and then we're like, "Oh, like you said, oh, you're not who I thought you were," or you gave me way too much criticism and you're being mean, or you're XYZ. And it's like, we can't even take constructive criticism nowadays without being offended.
Right.
And it's
Exactly.
just crazy to me.
Yeah, another thing is like when it comes to effort, like people don't have the
Mhm.
capacity to actually learn, but not only learn, like when you learn these things, you have to change. You have to learn it, relearn it, relearn it again, and then apply it.
Mhm.
Like obviously
Mhm.
the first time that, okay, we had this conversation, all right, next time I'm going to get it. No, you're going to mess up a couple times. But
Yep.
in marriage, you have to be patient with your significant other because at the end of the day, that's who you have to come home to, right?
Mhm.
That's who you committed yourself to. And at the end of the day, that's who you have to be better for. So,
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I feel like
Exactly.
the effort should, like we were talking about the other day, the effort should always remain 100. You're going to be in seasons and stuff where, you might not be able to fulfill your responsibilities to 100%, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your effort with your spouse should ever change. You should still be trying to give that 100% because, like we said the other day, 50-50 is just not a reasonable thing. Like, you can't
No.
give 50% effort and expect a marriage to last. It's
hmm
Mhm.
unrealistic. So it's like your efforts and responsibilities might change. You might have different seasons where you're taking on a lot more than your significant other. But like your effort with your spouse should always remain at 100% and always remember like this is my spouse. This is who I have to come home to, like you said. This is who I have to see on a daily basis and communicate with because what if you have kids? Like you have to stay strong in your efforts in order to have a successful family, a successful marriage.
And at the end of the day, that's the decision you made. So,
Mhm.
another, like our generation in decision making,
Mm.
baby, pray,
Garbage.
I'll pray for them because some of the decisions these people be making, I'm like, you just, you just, all right, all
Yeah,
right,
Right.
all right.
Mhm.
Math isn't mathing, but do you, boo boo, do you?
right? We were all there
No.
once.
Exactly. But I mean, it's the same thing with that effort though. It's just you have to be able to stomach the fact that you may have to pick up the slack for your partner. And your effort
Mhm.
has to be unconditional. You can't go tit for tat. You can't match your partner. You can't meet them where they're at. You may have to be the bigger person. You may
Yep.
have to carry your relationship, regardless of you being a male or a female. You might
Mhm.
be a female and you might have to step it up. But
Yep.
females think, oh, the man got to be a man. The man is supposed to lead. The man is blah, blah, blah. But what if he doesn't have the capacity to lead right now? How can you ask someone to do a role that they're not equipped to do at the moment? At that point, you're just setting them up for failure. So why
Mhm.
would you even lead your relationship down that path? So you have to be able to do that. But again, that's not the society standard that we have right now. That's not what's
Nope.
being advertised on TikTok. That's not what's being advertised on Facebook. Like they're getting fed incorrect information and it's garbage. It's
Yeah.
garbage. They're cooked. But I
All,
mean,
and all this letting social media influence you stuff has got to go.
Mm. Yes.
it really does. Like, and even so, like people, we talked about stuck in our ways earlier. I feel like when you get into a relationship that you know is going to lead to marriage, you have to realize that you cannot continue to be the same person that you were when you entered that relationship.
Mhm.
Because the person that you were single. You was probably at Westport every Friday. You was doing things on your own. You didn't really care about what was going on. But now you want to
Yeah.
be in a committed relationship where you have to unlearn how to be single. And that was my demise at the beginning. I was like, whoa, what do you mean? I can't just think about me. I got to think about us. It's hard.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have this whole, oh, if you love me, you'll accept me as I am. You wouldn't
Mm.
want to change me if you really loved me. If you want to change me, then you don't really want to be with me. No,
Mm.
I want to be with you, but I don't want to be with single Cammy. I want to be with wife Cammy. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's fine. Your life had a season, but seasons change.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know.
But
What do
I
you guys think about that? Like, how does that work in your guys' head?
I feel like what you had is a good point. Like a lot of people do try to bring up like, oh well, if you love me, you would change for me. Oh, if you love me, you would do XYZ. But let's flip that. If you love them, you be willing to change. If you love them, you be willing to change that season. Okay, I'm going from single to dating to engaged, prepping for marriage. Like you're gonna have all these different seasons where like you're signing up for this and you know you're signing up for this, you're gonna have to be willing to adapt.
Hey,
Like
but
Mhm.
nobody wants to do that, but I promise you, you're gonna have to, like, it's gonna go one or 2 ways, like, it's going to succeed or you're gonna set it up for failure.
Right, and not only that, but, like, this is the only time I would say 50-50 applies. When you guys are learning about
Mhm.
each other, meet me halfway, like, you have to meet your partner halfway, and whether that means understanding where they're coming from, that means shutting the freak up, listening to what they have to say, listening to understand it, absorb it, not to just, "Well, I said,"
Yep.
you have to listen and understand where they're coming from, and that's the only way you're gonna be able to move forward in a peaceful manner, because if you don't understand why that your person is, asking you to react a certain way, or like,
Mhm.
people go through life, right? And in life,
Mhm.
you have a lot of experiences. So some things that you do might be your spouse's trigger, and you just don't know that. But
Yeah.
now you're trying to communicate that with you, and they shouldn't really have to go into an explanation like, "Oh, well, when I was growing up, my mom used to backhand me when she did that." Like,
Mm.
they shouldn't.
Whoa. Okay.
Just saying,
Like,
like,
hold on now.
triggers though, like, you never know
Mhm.
what people go through, and a lot of the times people try to outgrow that before marriage. People try to outgrow that
Mhm.
before they propose, because they don't wanna deal with that once they're committed to somebody. So, just like I said, being able to meet someone halfway and understand, listen to understand, and then react. I think that's a really big part of, the beginning of marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Cause like when you're speaking with someone, let's say you get into a disagreement with your spouse, you may say something in a blunt, nonchalant tone because that's you. That's what you're used to. That's how you communicate. You don't mean
Mhm.
nothing by it, but they take that as, some type of, oh, well, it's going south, or oh, you're being mean. You
Yes.
don't care, blah, blah, blah. Then you have to explain your tone, and then they have to explain why it bothers them. So no one's wrong. Both of you are just used to a certain thing, but that's where you
Yep.
gotta meet in the middle. So, and I kind of struggled with that because with my husband, I'll say something and he'll say, that really hurt my feelings, or it sounded like you were coming for me, or you were trying to like
Mhm.
talk stuff. And I was like, no, I was really just saying you don't know how to do dishes right. That's all I said. Like, that's all I said. That's it. But
Yeah.
I didn't mean nothing by it. Pot list got grease on it. That's it. So
Exactly.
but I had to have many conversations, like, that's literally I just said it. I felt it, we talked about it, so I said it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's marriage is not easy, like, that in the first
Mm-mm.
year is the hardest year. I'm pretty sure that divorce rate happens within the first 16 months. So,
Yeah.
they don't make it no longer than 16, in my opinion, 16 to 18, maybe. But
Mhm.
you have to be able to thug it out the first year. And then once I see people make it past
Yep.
like 3 years, I'm like, "Okay, you have a fighting chance. You have a
Yeah.
fighting chance. You thugged it out when it was hard, when y'all was in the trenches, and now you're
Mhm.
good. You found the flow. You figured out what works for each other. You may argue, but now you argue to resolve, not argue to
Yep.
battle." So, yeah.
Yeah, and that brings me to, like, my hot take in regards to stuff because I feel like nowadays, like, going back to, like, that open communication, like, and any type of, like, conversations that you may have, like, if you say something wrong or anything along those lines, nowadays, we live in a society where we're just prideful. We don't wanna admit when we're wrong. We don't wanna take that time to be like, "You know what? That might have hurt your feelings. I'm so sorry. Like, let me be able to do better and let me be able to, like, try to fix that." And I think a lot of times that's something that, like, I struggled with in the beginning because we're all 3 very blunt people in in this group, and I mean, I had to learn, like, okay, it's not how you're saying it, and it's not necessarily I mean, it's not what you're saying, but it's how you're saying it.
Mhm.
Because you
Mhm.
might be saying something like, you know, "Hey, you're not doing the dishes right," but that's coming off as, "Oh, so you don't think I know what I'm doing? Okay, got it."
Right.
And like, no, 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 that's not the case. I'm not trying to start an argument. I'm not trying to start a bickering. Like, I'm not trying to start anything along those lines. But a lot of times, like, we'll get in our ways and be prideful and be like, Um, actually, I don't wanna apologize. You made me mad. Actually, I don't wanna do this because you didn't agree with me, and I don't feel like that's fair in a marriage, and that's also not helping it, especially within the first year, because there's a lot of conversations that me and my husband had to have a talk about and learn that, like, this is not the we're not fighting each other, we're fighting the problem. And, like, we need to figure this out. How can we be able to move forward from this? How can we be able to pivot and learn how to communicate better about this? And I feel like that just doesn't happen nowadays, and it's hard to find that.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think people are really quick to get in defense mode. Like,
Mhm.
but
Everybody wants kung fu fighting.
Hey.
but it's just like relax. Like obviously you most of the time, right? You guys are
Mhm.
not here for no reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you think that, you made this commitment and every time this person's talking to you, they're trying to
Mhm.
back you or they're trying to point out your flaws or things like that when it's just, hey,
Yep.
I really just feel like we can be more cohesive if,
Mhm.
and that goes again to, listening to understand because at the end of the day, I don't know, you can say whatever you want, but it goes back to how are you saying it. So I
Yep.
think both partners have to realize like there's a certain way to say stuff to where, okay,
Mhm.
I notice that you get very defensive when I say it this way. Think about it,
Mhm.
Yep.
approach it differently, and then you'll
Mhm.
produce different results. So,
Yeah, and I feel like that's kinda still what I'm struggling with because 'cause I'm so used to just saying it, and I've had to
Mhm.
have that I have to have the humility to turn around and say, "You know what? I can see how you took offense to my tone," or, "I
Yep.
could see how my tone blocked you from understanding the words." 'Cause that's very common. Like, if you
Mhm.
come at them with a tone that they perceive to be negative, they block out whatever else comes next because
Yep.
all they heard is that tone. So me
Mhm.
realizing that when I use this tone, we get nowhere. I have to tell myself, okay, well, now it's time for me to do my part. I need to
Yep.
change. I'm not going to force him to just learn my tone or
Mhm.
force him to just not take offense. I have to change my tone because to
Yep.
help the marriage is to help myself. And I'm not going to sit here and struggle. So really, I'm doing myself a favor. But that's like a bigger picture view that not many people have. People just look at what's right in front of them. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot.
yeah.
It
So,
honestly does.
Nisa, you mentioned that you're only 5 months into your marriage. So that's kind of a drastic amount less than both of us. That your hot take might be a little bit different. So, what you got for us?
For my hot take,
Mhm.
I mean, it's really just unlearning my old self. And I even was talking to one of my friends earlier today. Like, I feel like I'm in that limbo of who I was and who I'm growing to be, and who I need to
Mhm.
be for this marriage and who I need to be as a mother. So it's
Yeah.
hard kind of navigating that. Like, okay, what habits do I need to let go? What do I need to pick up? What do I need to work on? Like, how can I be helpful in this? So, 'cause I'm a very stubborn person, as you guys know, and I'm a very independent person. Mhm.
Mhm.
Very independent.
Mhm.
But I'm
We
having
know.
to figure
We
yeah.
know.
Mhm. So so I literally have to figure out like, okay, what should I handle myself and where should I back up?
Mhm.
Like that's
Where
my
ask for help.
yes, where should I ask for help? I don't know how to delegate at all. Like if I know how to do it, I'm just gonna say, you know what, whatever. I'll
Yep.
just figure it out myself. I got it. And I'm gonna bother to ask. But how, if I make that type of decision, how am I letting him step into his role? And then
Mhm.
how am I letting him learn how to be a husband? Because I'm
Yes.
learning how to be a wife and he's learning how to be a husband at the end of the day. So
Mhm.
it's really the patience with the learning curve because having to figure out myself and having to figure out us as a whole, that's a lot at one time. And it takes a lot out of you. But I made that covenant under God. I made that promise. I said, this is what I want to do. So I'm going to do the work to make sure that I do this in a healthy capacity. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're both in our 20s, and I have to make sure that I don't do anything that damages us long term.
Mhm.
So, regardless of what happens, I cannot damage either of us. But I just feel like I don't know, and that's something that it's just a work in progress. That'll go past a year probably.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
being in the first year, it's starting, but I don't think that lesson stops because when I turn 30, I'm gonna hit another curve. I'm gonna grow some
Mhm.
more. When I turn 35, I'm gonna grow some more. So I have to re-go through this loop every single time. So I feel like
Yep.
now it's just my trial of like, how do I do this? But I don't it just takes a lot. I just can't say it enough. Like, people look at marriage as a trend, but I'm like, this is
Yeah.
real. Like, this is a lot. This will make or break you. It
Yeah.
really will.
Yeah, I agree, especially with the whole make you or break you part because I remember
Mhm.
times at the beginning of our marriage where I just did not feel understood, and it's like it makes you wanna rip your hair out, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because 'Cause I'm like, I'm trying to explain how I feel, but I'm not getting my point across, so I'm continuing to feel,
Mhm.
um, misunderstood, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
That feeling of feeling misunderstood is probably the worst feeling ever when, you know, you're with someone you're trying to spend the rest of your life with, and it's like, "How many different ways do I have to explain this to you in order for you to
Mhm.
get it?" Um, so I think you're totally right, like, unlearning the old you and learning the new you, but not only the new you, the person that you just built, you know, are deciding to build your life on, not on, but with. You
Mhm.
learn them and figure out how can I
Mhm.
get my point across in a way that they'll understand.
Yeah. And I think that's totally valid because I feel like we've, all been there. And I feel like for those who are listening, like you might be there or you are probably going to be there. And I feel like no matter what, even if it's not in the first year, I feel like at some point we're all still going to feel like not understood. And that's just something that you're gonna have to learn again. Like, okay, I've, gone through the hills and valleys of one topic. We've figured it out. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case for all topics. And I feel like we have to keep going back to that understanding and that willing of, okay, let me go ahead and figure out how to communicate this better. How can I be able to make them understand different? How can I be able to do like anything along those lines to be able to have that success set up in the future? Like you said, like I don't want to damage anything short term and it affect us long term because, we
Mhm.
all want marriages that are in our 80s, 90s when we die. Like, we want to be able to sit here and like look back with our grandchildren and their great grandchildren and be like, yep, they had a relationship for 60 years.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord. Like, wow, that's not heard of right now. Like, that might be the case, but it's like we also have to be able to like set that example
Yeah, like,
for
I think
sure.
you made a great point. I definitely want my great and great grandkids to be able to build their family tree.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
they can't sit down and say, "Okay, this is where I came from. This person. This is that person." No, I'm just like, "Okay, mom, dad, you have parents, dad, but I don't really,
Hmm.
mom, I know your people, but after that, ain't much to it. Like, I want my
Yeah,
generation to know who started it and, the roots, the foundation.
exactly.
So,
Foundation, yeah, because 'cause they'll look back at that, they're like, "If she can do it, I can do it," or they'll look back at
Hmm.
that and say, "Well, this is what my family does, it's what I'm gonna continue." Like, it
mhm,
builds
Hmm.
on their morals, like, what do you actually respect? What do you want to build on? So, looking back at my family, like, it's choppy. A lot of my
Hmm.
family is just, like, everywhere, and I'm just like, "I want something that's stable." So
Yep.
and I want that to be normalized, but it's just people pick and choose. People pick and choose what they wanna put all of their efforts into, and most of it is not the important thing. So,
mhm,
Mm-mm.
deciding who you want to build your life with, deciding who your memories are built around, that matters. That
Yeah,
matters.
100%. So,
absolutely.
what do you think? So, we talked about hot takes on, what we think are, important to discuss during, that first year or beginning of marriage. But what do you think is a question or a struggle that we haven't mentioned that people have within that first year of marriage?
Hmm. I feel like
I would say, like, um, combining schedules and routine,
Mhm,
because, it might be a perfect world for you and you might have the same work schedule and we get home at the same time, but then it's like, "Okay, when do I have my alone time?" Or, y
mhm,
"When do I have time to do things that I like to do and maybe he doesn't like to do?" Or, things like that. I think that, um, just really trying to mesh your life into one,
Yeah,
with another person is the most difficult part.
yeah.
yeah, I feel like another one too could just be being selfless. Like,
Yeah,
Mm,
there's gonna be a lot of times where you have to choose your partner over you. Like, your
yep,
partner may need to rest. You may have to do extra so they can rest. Your partner may need to go do X, Y, and Z, so you may
mhm,
have to step in their capacity. Like, being selfless is very hard, in my opinion,
yeah,
because it's so hard. I noticed, like, in our age group, and I know I keep saying, like, our generation, our age group, but we don't commonly put other people above ourselves. I
mm-mm,
think we built this pattern of my life, my choice, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, y'all gotta get with the program.
yep,
kind of
So
that,
we
like, that me over we mindset,
yep,
Mhm.
like, reverse and you'll be good.
Exactly. That's it, like, being selfless is very difficult, but I think that's really a big chunk of marriage, and that's gonna be a huge struggle for people starting out. What do you think, Kimmy?
I feel um, like, kinda like what E said, like, prioritizing. I feel like a lot of struggles that kind of, like, get left behind is dating your partner while you're married. I think a lot of times we get caught up so in day-to-day life that we don't necessarily take the time to be like, "Oh my gosh, we haven't been on a date." Or, we get so caught up in, like, life moments or seasons that we may be in, like, you're a new mom, like, taking those times to prioritize your relationship
Mhm.
to be able to go on a date, like, it's, life gets lifing and you get so caught up into it. And so, like, I think that's one thing that, like, even like we found ourselves struggling in was like not prioritizing that time. And it's like we're about to be in a busy season ourselves with Jalen doing different coaching positions and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, we like need to actually prioritize this. Like it's going to be a struggle to find something because we're doing something every single day. But like we are going to have to take the time to sit down and just be like, here's our schedule. What are we doing? Like, let's
Right.
figure this out.
And the biggest thing, like, knowing you're busy. Okay, well, now
Mhm.
we have to look at a schedule because, like, I still wanna spend time with you, shawty, right?
Exactly.
I love
Mhm.
you, but it's like, just lay it out and make sure you guys plan it because it's
Mhm.
hard, especially when you both have different lives and, obviously the same life, but you got a bunch of different activities you're doing,
Yep.
uh, other commitments that, you enjoy. Like you said, coaching's a big one of those, in our marriage too. Over the summer we coached together, but, during school basketball, he's always at school coaching and, don't get
Mhm.
me wrong, we've been together for 3 years, so I'm like, "Alright, cool, yeah, I'll enjoy sports not being on the TV so I can binge watch something," but,
Yeah.
finding those downtimes where it's like, "Okay, you had an early game this weekend, let's have a
Mhm.
movie night," or, you know, um, "You guys are off this week, let's do this," like, we scheduled for to go to the pumpkin patch here in the next couple weeks,
Yeah.
take the baby, go to the pumpkin patch, do some fun activities, and really, I think our lives right now, like with dating while married, is like very much centered around our son because we just moved
Mhm.
away from home and like we have a small village here, but we'd rather just take him and watch him enjoy it, and then
Yeah.
also like him seeing his parents enjoy each other and smile together and laugh together and
Mhm.
have those moments together. I feel like it'll push that positive image of marriage and positive
Mhm.
relationships and things like that as he gets older too, so
Yeah.
So I think the common like theme with all of our, responses is just being intentional. Like
Yeah,
you have to put in thought, time, and effort into the marriage, regardless of what stage you're at, regardless of what you're trying to do. Everything that you do has to have intention.
yep,
And if, you know, even if marriage is not in your path short term, but you know this is who you want to be with, you still have to be intentional. Like, if you want to still be with that person in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, all this stuff goes with it. Even if, you're not with the whole signing the marriage contract, whatever the case may be, like, in order to have a somebody, you know, you have to want to have them and you have to want to be better for them. So,
yeah,
100% attention.
So it's not just going to happen for you. It's not just going to fall into your lap. It's not just going to somehow miraculously be healthy and go easy. You have to put in that work.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
do we have anything else for our people? Because I know it's the first episode. I know we ain't gonna go all deep, kind of a little intro to what we doing and what we about. But is there anything else that we want to throw out there for our homegirls?
I got one more question for y'all.
Bet.
What's y'all's biggest pet peeve that your husband does?
Man.
Y'all like which one? Which
Right. You want me to pick one?
one?
All right, I'm like, which one talks over the other? Oh,
That
um,
okay, I'm gonna
I'm
let
gonna
you
let
go first.
I'm gonna
No,
let
no.
y'all go first. B, you go first since you brought it
All right. Y'all know mine. This man will eat cereal every night before bed, bruh. Like, I'm talking about, I'll make a good meal, big meal,
and I get a
spaghetti,
bowl of
salad,
cereal.
chicken tenders, bread at 8 o'clock at night. And we're going to bed at 10. And he's like, I'll be right back. Come back with a bowl of cereal. Okay, I can get
Oh,
over that.
okay.
I can get over that. But then the bowl of milk, he just to the takes it to the sink and puts the bowl of milk in the sink. So you telling me you didn't have enough time to pour that milk out and rinse out the
Just to
bowl before
dump
you
it.
went to bed?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me we got fruity pebble rocks stuck to the side of the bowl now? See, and you wonder why I don't do dishes because I'm tired of
Yep.
scraping fruity pebbles off the bowl.
Mhm.
I feel like mine is when he gets home, it doesn't matter where it's from, gym, work, it does not matter. When he gets home, he literally steps out of his shoes and then keeps walking.
Oh,
And he's got like 3 pairs of tennis shoes that I had to pick up behind me before the podcast started. He got a pair of slippers in the living room. And when it's 2 a.m. and I got to change Amina's diaper and I'm trying to walk into the nursery and I'm carrying her, I'm tripping over slippers. While I'm trying to go to the kitchen to fix her a bottle, I'm tripping over tennis shoes.
yep.
Like he walks out of his shoes and keeps walking. I would
Mhm.
say that's my first one. What about you, Cam?
I got a few, but but I
What's
would
your one?
probably say, probably the dishes. For the longest time, I stopped doing the dishes because I kept getting annoyed because, like, anytime, like, we would, like, trade each every day of doing dishes, and so, like, I would do them one day, he would do them the next. I'd go pull out all the dishes from the dishwasher. They're dirty. What do you mean they're dirty? They just ran a whole cycle. What do you mean? And I'm sitting here, stuff is crusted and all messed up and stuff and just stuck. Like it was plastered on by the heat of the dishwasher. Now I'm like, okay, who gonna clean this? Um, please let me
Yeah,
know.
I think
Mm-mm.
chores are another like big part of marriage because if you don't live together very long before you get married, you don't know like what chores are the weakness. Like obviously
Mm-hmm.
your guys' men can't do dishes.
No, nope.
But like like I was telling y'all, like I'm super blessed because he loves cleaning, he loves sweeping, he loves
Mhm.
doing the whole Sunday reset. But I know he gets so mad. because y'all know I'm a sneakerhead, got 100 shoes, and I'm kinda like Keith, like, I'll go walk into the closet, kick my little shoes off, and walk off. He'll be like, "You got 10 pair of shoes in this closet, and you don't know how to put them back in the box." I'm like,
At least they're in the
Mhm.
closet though.
I'm like,
No.
"You want me to do it?" Or he'll be like, "Imma do it this time," but next time, I'm like, "Shit, you gonna do it
You know
again."
you gonna keep doing it.
He been doing it for 3 years.
Yep, well,
Exactly.
longer
Well,
than
yeah, longer than that. I mean, it's a lot though. It's so I mean, I had a whole list. We know Cammy had a whole list. But the pet peeves go on, but you deal with it because that's your
Yeah.
person. That's who you chose. But honestly, man, I don't know about y'all, but I wanna know what our homegirls think. Like, I wanna know what
Mm,
y'all's pet peeves are, or, like, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're married, like, drop
yep,
it down below. I wanna know, like, what really tickles y'all? What are you
exactly.
tired of dealing with that you choose to still deal with? What keeps you
Mhm,
going, you know what I'm saying?
leave us a comment. We gonna discuss these because
mhm,
your spouse, they just know how to get up under your skin, but it's always that one or two little things that they
yep,
just will never outgrow.
nope,
So
For the first episode, I don't think we have much else for our ladies here. You know,
nope,
we started it off easy. I'm really excited to get this podcast going, talking to our people, kind of reaching out to our community, building our little
mhm.
hive. You know what I'm saying?
Alright, well, thank you for tuning in to our podcast. We hope that we kept it real and authentic. Definitely drop down those comments as far as the biggest pet peeves and what you continue to keep dealing with. We'll be reviewing those in the meantime of our next one. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications if you're on YouTube so that way you can get notified every time that we upload on our schedule.
and
Thank
follow
you.
us,
Yeah.
wifed up IRL. Follow us.
Yeah,
Do
TikTok,
that.
Instagram, Spotify, we out there. All
Yeah.
platforms, we
exactly.
touching it. Okay. Coming to y'all. All right. Just let us know what you guys want to hear from us. We're here for you. Just let us know.
All right. Peace, homegirls.
Peace
All
out.
right. Bye.